Hi, Midnight Readers. How's everybody doing? I hope you're all doing well. Alright, so we're about to jump right back into My Best Friend's Friend, the story that we started last time. And before we do that, let's do a little recap just so we're all on the same page. We've learned that Shelley is the main character, and she underwent a grueling breakup, if you will, several years prior, and she has just learned that she's going to be having to come face to face with that schmuck of an ex of hers at an upcoming gala, an event that she and several other committee members have been working tirelessly to get perfect. Seeing how stressed she is, her best friend Andy goes ahead and enlists the help of one of his good friends to pose as her fake date. Everything seems to be going well upon meeting this guy, who, to her surprise, is really sweet, a little bit shy, and has this handsome charm to him that just kind of sweeps her off her feet. And if she's okay with things might actually work out. He might be a good fake date. And then she gets the news that an unexpected house guest is going to be staying with them. So yeah, that's where we're at. Let's find out about this house guest. You guys ready? Here we go.
My Best Friend's Friend, Chapter 5. I had woken up several times throughout the night having crazy dreams that were undoubtedly prompted by Logan's reemergence in my life. Last night had been interesting to say the least. It could have been my imagination playing tricks on me, seeing something it wanted to, rather than what was actually happening, but it had almost seemed like Logan was actually sorry, like he wanted to fix things between us. As I stretched and got dressed, a mouth-watering aroma filled the air. Someone was making breakfast. I finished getting dolled up and headed to the kitchen. I was surprised to find Theo at the stove wearing my apron. My apron! "Good morning, cute apron," I teased. "Morning. Oh, thanks. Do you like it? I really think pink might be my color," he retorted playfully. "What are you making?" "Well, the omelets, tea, and toast are ready. I was about to start on the pancakes. I wasn't sure what everyone liked." "Wow. You didn't have to do all of this. But I'm sure it's going to be appreciated. Want some help with the pancakes?" "Sure," he responded with a smile. I stood on my tippy toes to try and reach the cabinet above the stove. "Here, let me help you. What are you trying to get?" he asked, opening the cabinet with ease. "Must be nice to be 6'1". "I was trying to get the chocolate chips," I sighed. "Oh, I like your style. Here you go, shorty," he teased, handing them to me. "I'll have you know, 5'4" is considered average height for a female. Thank you very much," I sassed. "Uh-huh, whatever you say." "It is," I insisted, flinging some pancake mix at him. "It's on," he challenged, flinging some back at me. Before I knew it, there was a whirlwind of ingredients flying back and forth between us. Okay, truce!" I yelped, attempting to catch my breath from laughing so hard. We quickly spun around to the sound of someone intentionally clearing their throats. It was Andy. "If I didn't know better, I'd say it looks like you are trying to steal my best friend," Andy teased. "I would never," Theo insisted. "But they say sharing is caring," he continued tauntingly. Andy helped us clean up the mess as we finished up the pancakes. As we all sat down to eat, curiosity was getting the better of me. "So, what happened to Logan?" We stayed up pretty late, and he had a bit to drink," Andy replied. You two are up, though," I said questioningly. "Oh, I don't really drink, so I turned in shortly after you did," Theo clarified. Glad to hear that," I said with a little smile. All this social drinking was one thing I hated about Logan in the past. He never got drunk or acted dumb, but he always had to have a drink in hand in social situations. I knew Andy well enough to know that he had had more than one, so I decided to drop it. A couple hours later, we all headed down to spend the rest of the day at the bay. We got lucky and found an open bonfire pit. Andy and Theo went to the corner store a couple blocks away to grab some stuff to make s'mores, while Logan grabbed the things from the car, and I set everything up. Logan and I finished setting up before Andy and Theo returned. I laid down on the blanket and was surprised when Logan came to sit next to me. "So, what's up with you and Theo?" "What?" I questioned, shocked. "I just mean, it's obvious he likes you. I was just wondering if you two are dating or—" It was obvious Theo liked me? At first I wasn't sure what to think about his comment, but then remembered that was literally Theo's one job. He was supposed to make everyone believe that he was head over heels for me. I guess he was doing a good job. "I mean, he is my date to the gala, so I guess." "But he's not your boyfriend?" he questioned further. "Yet," Theo said with a smirk walking past us. My jaw dropped. I couldn't believe we didn't hear them get back. I had to hand it to him. Theo's acting skills were pretty darn good, and his timing was impeccable. I laughed and shook my head before laying all the way back down. Now, if you don't mind, you're blocking my sun, I said with a smirk, letting Logan know I was done with this conversation. As the guys went out on the paddle boards, I'd be lying if I said I didn't stare. It didn't seem fair that I had such good-looking guys staying with me, yet none of them were mine. I noticed several other nearby girls staring as well. I couldn't help but chuckle to myself. They eventually came back in, and we took our turns taking the two-person kayak out on the water. Andy and I went first. He wanted to check in with me and make sure everything was going okay. As we returned, it almost appeared as though Logan and Theo were having a heated discussion. Theo walked out to the water to meet us. Hey, are you too tired to go back out for a little bit? He asked. No, I'm good, I replied as he and Andy traded places. So, how are you hanging in there? He asked as we paddled out. I'm fine, thanks. It seems like you and Logan seem to be getting along, he said questioningly. Yeah, I guess, but that's mostly because I haven't really had any one-on-one time with him, aside from the 2 minutes before you guys got back earlier. When you were telling him I wasn't your boyfriend. Yeah, well, I didn't want to lie. Yep, you're right, I'm not, he replied, looking back out to the water. A long, awkward silence followed before he finally spoke again. Hey, check out that sunset. It was beautiful. The sky was starting to glow a pinkish-orange color as light purple clouds streaked across. Beautiful, he smiled. Yeah, it is. After watching the colors change, as the sun drifted lower, we decided it was time to paddle back in. The rest of the evening was great. We started up the bonfire, put on some music, and made s'mores. Andy and Logan left to go to the bathroom, while Theo and I talked about anything and everything as we relaxed under the stars. We eventually packed up and headed home. My Best Friend's Friend, Chapter 6. The next day I awoke, half expecting to find Theo in the kitchen making breakfast again. However, the house was silent. As I walked down the hall towards the kitchen, I noticed Theo's door cracked open slightly. He was sitting on the edge of the bed staring at his phone. Curious, I knocked. Good morning. Do you feel like joining me to make breakfast? He didn't respond, but rather shook his head no. Something was definitely up. Taking a step in, I asked, Everything okay? When he remained silent, I began to worry. Sitting down next to him, on the bed, I placed my hand on his shoulder. Hey, what's going on? I asked softly. They've called me 3 times this morning from my father's care facility. What did they want? I don't know. The messages just said they needed to speak with me as soon as I got the message. So, are you planning on calling them back? I'm sorry, I'm just a little confused as to what's going on here. He let out a shaky breath, yet remained silent again. Talk to me. What's going on, Theo? I'm scared to call them back, okay? Scared? Scared of what? I questioned, confused. Scared to find out what they're calling for. What if he's taken a turn for the worse? Or worse yet, what if he's passed away? With that, he turned his eyes away and wiped a single tear from his eye. Without thinking, I immediately wrapped my arms around him. Don't think like that. Here, take a minute, and then we can call them back together, I said, still hugging him. I had no intention of pulling away, until he did first. He nodded, but didn't let go. Thanks, he whispered. Another couple of minutes went by before he spoke again. Okay, let's get this over with, he said, picking up his phone. The nurse on the line informed us that Theo's father had been a bit out of sorts since arriving, but he finally was lucid and doing well. He was asking to see Theo. They typically didn't allow visitation in the first week, however, felt Theo's father might benefit from a visit from Theo today. I don't know why, but I kind of feel uncomfortable going there to see him, Theo confessed after getting off the phone. I don't mind going with you if you'd like. Or we can find Andy and see what he's up to today, if you'd rather him. Andy and Logan went to drop some groceries off to Carter and Andy's parents since they're all sick. Oh, well, I guess I'm your only option then, if you'd like me to go, I offered. He gave me a strange look. What? I questioned. My only option or not, I'd want it to be you going with me today, either way, he said. I couldn't help but smile. Okay, sweet talker. I'll make breakfast to go. Come get me when you're dressed and ready, I said, turning to head for the door. I was shocked when he grabbed my hand and stopped me. Hey, thanks, he said. Of course, I replied with a smile. I mean it. I really appreciate you. I appreciate you too. Now go get ready, I said, giving his hand a little squeeze. Once at the facility, I was pleasantly surprised. It was nowhere near as bad as I had been expecting. We followed the nurse out into the garden, where Theo's father was sitting with his back to us. I noticed a strange expression wash over Theo's face. "You okay?" I whispered. When he shrugged, I did the only thing I could think of in the moment and linked arms with him. I wanted to remind him that he wasn't alone. As we followed the nurse along the path and around to the front of the bench, my jaw dropped. "Professor Allister?" I exclaimed. "Miss Summers! What are you doing here?" He responded with a huge smile as he looked at my arm linked with Thea's. "Hi, Dad. Shelley came with me because she knows how stressed out I've been since they went behind my back and moved you out here. However, I had no idea you two knew one another," Theo explained. "Well, today must be my lucky day. Not only do I get to see my favorite son, but one of my favorite past students as well." He was in great spirits the entire visit, and I could see Theo's stress melting away. Professor Allister explained he liked it here at the facility and had actually chosen it himself. In his younger years, he had done volunteer work here. I was sad to learn that he was in what they referred to as the end stage of his illness. He explained some days were great, and he almost forgets that he is ill, aside from a little fatigue, whereas other days he feels that any day could be his last. He showed us around the facility before taking us up to his room. There he had a journaling and sketching area set up. He said that he did both daily, regardless if he had a good day or bad. "So when I pass, I want both of you to check my books. There'll be something for each of you." "Wait! Stay just like that! Don't move!" the professor exclaimed, going and grabbing his phone from his nightstand. "Theo, put your arm around her, will you?" He continued holding up his phone to take the picture. We both humored him and smiled for the picture. The rest of the visit was nice. When it was time to leave, I said my goodbye and went and waited at the car for Theo, so he could have a moment alone with his dad. Shortly after, Theo appeared, and we headed home. "Thanks again for today," he said as we walked into the house. "I was happy to do it, and it was a nice surprise to see the professor again," I reassured him. "Let me say thank you by cooking you dinner." "Well, I won't object to that," I replied with a smile. My Best Friend's Friend, Chapter 7. The next day was Thursday, 2 days left until the gala. As my alarm went off, a text came in that read, "Be ready in 30. I wrote Andy back, "Good morning to you too. I'll be ready." "LOL, good morning, Sleeping Beauty," he replied. I hurried, got ready, and found my notebook. We had to head down to the venue to ensure everything had been set up properly for the event. The theme was An Evening Under the Stars, and the venue looked exquisite. Everything from the entryway to the main hall was adorned with little twinkling lights and moonflowers. Andy and I looked at one another with smiles beaming across our faces. We couldn't have been happier with these end results. It took us a couple hours to do the walkthrough and go through our checkoff lists to make sure that everything had been dropped off and set up as it was supposed to be. As we walked out to the car, Andy draped his arm lazily across my shoulders. "Well, we did it. Looks like all of our hard work has paid off," he remarked. "Definitely. Great teamwork as usual," I said playfully. "Want to grab smoothies on the way home?" I laughed. "Do you even need to ask?" He knew I was addicted to strawberry banana smoothies and could never turn one down. As we drove home after getting our smoothies, Andy glanced over at me. "So, what do you think about Theo? Pretty cool guy, right? Seems like you two are hitting it off." "Yeah, Theo is great. I'm really glad you ended up having him come. He is the perfect distraction, perfect for keeping Logan away." "Is that all? It kind of seems like there might be a little something more going on." "Well, yeah, he's obviously going through a lot right now. And I don't know, there's just something about him. I don't like seeing him sad." "You sure that's it? You just don't like seeing him sad? You're telling me you don't think he's attractive at all?" "I mean, I didn't say that. He's definitely got a great physique, fun personality, and charming smile." "Uh-huh," Andy replied with a smirk. "What?" "Oh, nothing," he said, turning up the music. When we arrived home, we found Logan and Theo in the den playing pool. "Hey, how'd it go?" Theo asked. We told them that everything was amazing and problem-free, so far. "Hey, can we talk?" Logan asked, looking at me. "Okay," I responded, a little unsure if I really wanted to. He walked over and opened the back door for me. He went and sat by the edge of the pool, putting his feet in by the steps. I eyed him suspiciously, remembering what had happened the last time we were out here. "Don't worry, I'm not going to throw you in," he laughed, patting the ground next to him. I slipped off my sandals and cautiously went and sat beside him. "I've missed you," he started to say, But my laugh cut him off. Sorry if I find that hard to believe, I scoffed. I'm serious. You're my one regret. Gee, thanks, I remarked as his comment made it sound as though he had regretted our paths crossing in the first place. No, I mean what happened between us, he attempted to clarify. The look on his face as he said it made it apparent he realized that this remark was no better than his last. I mean what I did. There's no excuse for my actions. You have no idea how many times I wanted to reach out and call you, to say sorry, to see how you were. Yet you never did, I replied sarcastically. Shelley, she deleted your number from my phone. Plus, I was pretty sure you hated me, he said, looking defeated. Well, I don't believe in hating people, but yeah, something like that. He sighed. You know, if I'm being honest, I've never felt for anyone else the way I felt about you. Well, it couldn't have been that great if you chose someone else. That's not fair. She was there and you were here, hours and cities away. What was I supposed to do? Sit there alone forever since I couldn't have you? Of course not. You could have been honest, though. I know. I told you. I truly am sorry. I hesitated before responding, not sure if I wanted to divulge what I was about to. Want to know a secret? He nodded. There was a time I would have done just about anything for you. I would have moved halfway across the world had you asked me to. But considering everything that had transpired, I'm sure glad I didn't. With that, he was silent. I was shocked when he laid back and folded his arms across his face. Feeling awkward, I looked away. That was when a slight movement in Andy's window caught my eye. I strained to see. I could have sworn that I could make out two silhouettes in the dully lit room. Were Andy and Theo spying on us? Just then, Logan took a deep breath, drawing my attention back to him. Hey, sorry, I'm not trying to be mean. Just saying what I was left thinking all these years. With that, he sat back up. The look on his face made it quite clear he wasn't happy. Yeah, I get that, and that's what hurts the most. Being around you now, for me, it feels like nothing has changed. You're still sassy, funny, and beautiful. The only difference is that you hate me now. Every time I want to turn to tell you something, I have to bite my tongue. Every time I want to hug you, I have to remind myself that it's not my arms that you want anymore. And the worst part is, I don't know what to do to change that. I don't know why, but after hearing him say all of those things coupled with the look on his face, I kind of felt bad. I sighed. Even if we were to move on from the past, wouldn't it still be the same thing all over again? I mean, you head back out of town in 3 days. I don't have to, if you don't want me to. I raised my brow questioningly. I have the option to work remotely, and the funds if I should need to relocate, he said with a glimmer of hope in his eye. I see. And I'm flattered that you're even throwing that out there, but for me, you're still the guy that broke my heart. If anything, we need to work on repairing our friendship first and foremost. Okay, I can do that, he replied, seeming happy to have at least been given the opportunity. After that, we sat by the pool catching up for close to 2 hours. And just before we parted ways to head back to our own rooms, he hugged me. I was surprised when I found myself thinking about Theo in that moment. Logan's hug no longer had the same effect on me it once had. In fact, his hug didn't come close to Theo's or the feeling I got whenever Theo's arms were around me. Had Andy been right? Had I been too caught up in everything that was going on to realize it? Was I actually starting to have feelings for the guy that had been asked to pretend to have feelings for me? I shook my head. As I walked back to my room, I had to snap out of it and remember what was real in regards to the situation with both of the guys. My Best Friend's Friend, Chapter 8. It was now Friday, the day before the gala, and as I entered the salon with these 3 buff, handsome guys beside me, I couldn't help but laugh. It had started out by one of them making some dumb remark to Andy, saying they bet he wouldn't get a pedicure with me, not knowing he had already planned on going. Their banter went on, and before any of us knew it, they had all challenged one another to get pedicures. So, here we all were. It took everything in me not to bust out laughing when Logan got stuck with the only male staff, who was clearly excited to work on Logan. "You're so tall and handsome," he was saying as he began pouring water over Logan's feet. My attention was immediately drawn to Theo as the older woman attending to him began to speak. "You're so handsome too. You got girlfriend?" "No, no girlfriend," he chuckled. "What? Why not? You don't like anybody?" she pressed further. My heart sunk at his reply. "Well, there is somebody I've kind of fallen for." She pretty? Yeah, she's gorgeous. She's got this smile that brightens even the crappiest of days. Oh, lucky girl, good for you. I couldn't listen anymore. Stupid Andy. Why did he have to bring up the topic of having feelings for Theo yesterday? He and Theo were close. He had to have known about this girl Theo was talking about. Ugh, how I wished I could just turn off these stupid feelings. I glanced over at Andy, who was already looking at me. He nodded towards Logan, laughing. I looked over just in time to see his attendant gently stroking his leg with a big smile on his face. I couldn't help but laugh. I had never seen Logan look so uncomfortable. That night at dinner, Theo followed me into the kitchen. Hey, everything good? You've been kind of quiet today. Yep, all good, I replied, trying my best to mask how I was truly feeling. Okay, well, I'm willing to listen if it's not, he said, clearly not believing me. If Logan did anything to upset you, I can go throw him in the pool for you, he teased, attempting to get me to smile. If I did anything to upset her, I'll go throw myself in the pool, thank you very much. Wait, I didn't upset you, did I? He questioned, walking up to join us. I laughed and rolled my eyes. Thanks, guys, but I'm not upset. Logan, you're safe for now, I teased back. Oh, thank God. I had quite the day already, he said dramatically, going and grabbing a drink from the fridge before heading back out to the dining room. I went and grabbed a couple of drinks before coming back to Theo, who was now leaning on the bar, staring off. I put a drink in front of him. What's up? What are you thinking? I asked. I was just thinking how wild it is that you knew my dad. It's almost like fate brought us together, he said with a weird look on his face. Yeah, maybe it did. I smiled, looking into his eyes. Why was he staring at me like that? I was shocked when he wrapped his arm around my shoulders. Thank you. For what? I questioned. For just being you, he said, giving me a little squeeze before heading back out to the dining room. I felt confused. If I hadn't heard his conversation at the salon earlier, and his remark about the other girl, I would have sworn he was starting to have the same feelings for me that I had for him. Perhaps I was misreading it. Maybe he was just saying he was happy to have me as a friend. I returned to the living room just as Theo was answering a call. I saw the expression on his face change as he left the room. He definitely wasn't happy. Logan, Andy, and I finished up eating and cleared the table. Theo still hadn't returned, so I went to check on him. His door was closed, so I tried to listen to see if he was still on the phone. Everything seemed quiet, so I knocked. When he opened the door, his eyes were red. What's wrong? I just got off the phone with my mom. I guess my dad had a bad day. She and my brother were attempting to get the nurse to let them see him when the nurse divulged that the one visit this week was already taken up by me, and it was more than he was supposed to have. When she found out that I had gone to see him without her, and without even letting her know, she freaked out. She's convinced that was my way of trying to get back at them. I just don't want to have to deal with this unnecessary drama anymore. Isn't everything we're having to go through with my dad bad enough? He said, laying on his back on the bed. I'm sorry you're having to go through and deal with all of this. I can only imagine how hard it must be. If there's anything I can do to help, seriously, don't hesitate to ask, okay? There is one thing. Sure, anything. Stay with me tonight, he said shyly. I hesitated briefly, contemplating if I should, but he was so sad. I couldn't tell him no. I nodded. Sure, I can do that, I said, climbing on the bed next to him. In one quick movement, he wrapped his arm around me and pulled me into him. Thank you, he whispered in my ear. He was so close that I could feel his breath on my neck. I loved how perfectly I fit in his arms. I squeezed my eyes shut tightly, trying to shake that thought as I remembered about the other girl. My thoughts were interrupted when he spoke. Can I ask you something? Sure. What's going on with you and Logan? Nothing. He had the audacity to ask for another chance. Can you believe that? I told him that he had his work cut out for him just trying to make his way back to friends. Got you. But do you still have feelings for him? Well, what's with the questions? Why don't you tell me about the girl you like? What? He questioned, sounding shocked. I heard you at the salon today, talking about some other girl you seem to like a lot. Ah, that, he chuckled. There's no other girl, he said, tightening his arm around me. I'm not Logan. If there were someone else, I wouldn't have you in my room, in my arms, like this. In case it wasn't clear, I was talking about you earlier. I could feel my cheeks turning red. Wait, is that why you were so quiet at dinner? I shrugged, too embarrassed to answer. Does that mean you have feelings for me too? Good night, Theo. We both need our beauty sleep, I said, pretending like I was tired, when really I was desperately trying to avoid having to answer that question. I just need a yes or a no, then I'll let you go to sleep, he insisted. Fine, yes, I said, hugging on as he tightened his hold around me. I couldn't stop smiling as he nuzzled into me. I felt so happy and comfortable in his arms that I drifted off to sleep without even realizing it. My Best Friend's Friend, Chapter 9. I woke to the sunlight dancing across my face and fingers gently trailing across my shoulders. I froze, trying to figure out what was going on. Then, I realized I was still in Theo's room. As I rolled over towards him, I was met with that handsome smile of his. Good morning, beautiful. Good morning, I replied, trying not to blush. Just then there was a knock on the bedroom door. My breath caught. I put a finger to my lips, motioning for Theo to not let them know I was in here. Theo arched his brow. I knew he didn't understand, but I knew what they would think, even though this had been innocent and nothing had happened. Today was the gala, and I had no time to waste, especially not on trying to defend myself and attempting to explain something that was none of their business. I'm on the phone right now. I'll be out in a couple of minutes, Theo called out through the closed door. Okay, meet you in the kitchen in a few, Andy replied from the other side. Thank you, I whispered, grabbing my phone and giving him a quick hug. I waited a minute before sneaking back to my room. I hopped in the shower and hurried to get ready. I had just finished drying off and getting dressed when there was a knock on my bedroom door. When I opened the door, excited squeals and laughs filled the air as Amy and Christian hugged me. Amy was a good friend, who just so happened to be a hairstylist. She was here to do my hair for the gala. Christian had been a good friend since high school. He was absolutely gorgeous, a very skilled makeup artist, and 100% into men. He had insisted on doing my makeup for the event, insisting that I had to look perfect for the big night, but only after he had caught wind of the news that Logan was going to be staying here. I'm not saying his wanting to help me was in any way related to him wanting to catch a glimpse of Logan. However, the timing of his offer sure did seem a bit suspicious. Hey, I didn't have a chance to grab any breakfast yet. Are you guys hungry? I asked. No, I'm good. Go ahead and grab some food, and I'll set everything up in here, Amy replied. I'll go with you, Christian said with a big smile. So, where are the guys at? He questioned, draping his arm around my shoulder as we headed down the hall. In the kitchen, I think. Oh, good, he muttered under his breath as we entered the kitchen. Christian's arm around me tightened as Andy and Theo looked over at us. And Theo looked at me, raising his brow questioningly. Of course, Christian took notice. She's mine, he said tauntingly. Theo looked to me as he responded. Is that right? I was under a different impression. Christian turned to me dramatically. You're not cheating on me, baby cakes, are you? I laughed. Okay, Drama King. I would like you to meet Theo. Theo, this is Christian. Christian and I have been friends since high school. Pleasure to make your acquaintance, handsome, Christian said, sticking his hand out to shake Theo's. Theo's eyes widened at the remark before darting to me. You can't have this one, I teased, stepping between him and Theo. Fine, but I call dibs on tall and handsome whenever he emerges. By all means, he's all yours, I laughed. Come on, big guy, let's get you some breakfast, Andy said, guiding Christian towards the muffins. I turned to Theo. Sorry about that. Christian can be a bit much when he's had too much caffeine. No worries. Just glad I don't have anything to worry about with him. Theo sighed. What do you mean? Nothing. Never mind, he said, wrapping his arm around me and giving me a little squeeze. I better go shower now and start getting ready, he continued before heading out of the room. Shortly after, Christian and I headed back to my room where Amy had just finished setting everything up. There were hair and makeup supplies all laid out and ready to go. After a couple hours of hair, makeup, and singing along to fun music, we were ready for the gala. Andy and I arrived early to ensure everything was being set up and executed as planned. Everyone planned to arrive an hour later. My heart skipped a beat when I saw Logan, Theo, and Christian walk through the door. They were undoubtedly three of the most handsome men I'd ever seen, especially in those suits. I couldn't help but chuckle to myself as I noticed other attendees turning and staring. I hugged each of them before going on stage with Andy and two other members of the planning committee. We thanked everyone for attending, acknowledged the sponsors and esteemed guests, and informed everyone that the silent auction and dancing would both be commencing shortly. "You did great up there," Theo said, giving me a little side hug. Just then the music started. "May I have the first dance?" he said, extending his hand. I glanced at Andy. "Go ahead, have some fun. You deserve it. I'll make sure everything goes smoothly with the auction," Andy said with a reassuring smile. I placed my hand in Theo's and followed him out onto the dance floor. I was surprised to discover that he was actually a really good dancer. After the first two songs, a slow song came on. There was just something about the way he pulled me in, and how his hand came to rest on the small of my back, that made me weak in the knees. I couldn't help but smile as he started to stare into my eyes. The music had picked back up to faster songs, and we were in the middle of our fifth dance when I felt a hand on my shoulder. I spun around to discover Logan standing there. "Hey, can we talk?" I looked at Theo, who did not look happy. "I'm sorry, I'll be right back. Just a minute," I said, feeling a bit guilty that I was leaving Theo standing there to go talk to Logan, a guy I wasn't even sure if I wanted to go talk to. I followed him outside and down the path that led to the little lake. "What's up?" I finally asked. "I just wanted to get some time alone with you, to see if you thought at all about what we talked about." "What do you mean?" I questioned, feeling a bit confused. "Well, I told you that I didn't have to leave if you didn't want me to." "Oh, Logan, that's very sweet, but I thought we agreed that we were going to work on trying to repair the trust and friendship right now," I questioned. "Is it because of Theo? You have feelings for him, huh?" "What? How I feel about Theo has nothing to do with us. This is about what happened between me and you in the past, the damage that was done, and what repairs need to be made for us to be in one another's lives, in any capacity, in the future." "Okay, fine. But will you humor me for 1 minute?" I cocked my head to the side. "What do you mean?" "Tell me if you feel anything," he said, stepping closer. Just as I opened my mouth to inform him that I wasn't sure what he had meant, he leaned in and kissed me. I hadn't been expecting that. I was completely caught off guard. "What the hell, Shelley?" My heart sunk as I pushed Logan off me and spun around to see Theo standing there. The look of hurt on his face was the worst. As he turned and quickly walked away, I chased after him, desperate to catch up and explain. "Theo, wait up! It wasn't what it looked like!" I pleaded. "I know what I saw." "No, you don't! You know what you think you saw. Come back with me and he'll tell you himself," I begged. He continued walking towards the parking lot. "Theo, please." "Just go back to your party," he said as he climbed into his car. A tear rolled down my cheek as he started the engine. Just then an arm wrapped around my shoulders. "Look, I'm sorry. I didn't realize there was something between you two. I'm going to fix this," Logan said. Theo looked over at us through his car window, with unmistakable disappointment written all over his face. Logan really did have shitty timing. Theo sped off as Logan fished in his pocket for his keys. "Don't worry, I'm going to fix this," he hollered as he jogged off to his car. The night dredged on painfully, as no word came from either Theo or Logan. If I hadn't been a member of the planning committee and the point of contact for all the vendors, I would have been free to go after them. However, tonight I was required to stay on site. The house was dark and quiet when Andy and I returned home in the wee hours of the morning. "Hey, try to get some sleep. I'll talk to Theo for you first thing in the morning. I'm sure we can fix this. Try not to stress too much." I thanked him and got ready for bed.
All right, Midnight Readers, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for reading along. Next week, it looks like we might just be finishing it up. So sit tight, buckle up, and get ready for the surprise twist at the end. Sweet dreams.